Financial history always leaves a trace, and gold is the earliest warning sign before collapse. When gold surpasses $4,000 an ounce, it's not just a number. It's a signal. A warning history has shown us time and time again. Right before the fall of every great empire. This isn't about market speculation. It's about a pattern woven through the fabric of civilization itself. What if I told you that the silent rise in gold's price is the loudest alarm bell you'll ever hear? Let's journey back in time. Picture the mighty Roman Empire, a civilization that once spanned continents. At its peak, its currency, the denarius, was nearly pure silver. But as wars drained the treasury and emperors grew lavish, a desperate solution emerged. They started mixing cheaper metals into their coins. Over centuries, what was once pure silver became a worthless piece of bronze with a thin silver wash. The people lost faith in their money, and soon after, the empire crumbled. The value didn't just disappear, it transferred. It fled from the debased currency to something real, something tangible. Gold. Now, let's fast forward to the Spanish Empire in the 16th and 17th centuries. Flush with gold and silver from the New World, Spain became the world's superpower. It seemed their wealth was infinite, but instead of investing in their own economy, they spent recklessly on endless wars and opulent lifestyles. To finance their ambitions, they flooded Europe with so much silver that its value plummeted. This massive inflation crippled their domestic industries and ultimately led to the empire's long, slow decline. Once again, as the state-issued currency lost its purchasing power, those who held gold preserved their wealth while the empire around them faded into history. Perhaps the most stark and terrifying example comes from Weimar Germany in the early 1920s. Defeated in World War I and burdened with impossible war reparations, the German government made a fateful decision. They turned on the printing presses. At first, it seemed to solve their problems, allowing them to pay their debts and fund social programs. But soon, it spiraled into a nightmare of hyperinflation. Prices doubled every few days, then every few hours. People's life savings, Helen the German mark, were wiped out overnight. They used wheelbarrows full of cash just to buy a loaf of bread. Banknotes became cheaper than wallpaper. Yet, amidst this financial apocalypse, what held its value? Gold. A single ounce of gold could buy a house. While paper money became worthless, gold retained its value. Empires rose and fell, but gold remained the ultimate store of wealth. These aren't just isolated stories. They are chapters in the same book, each with a different setting but an identical plot. A powerful empire, unsustainable spending, currency, debasement, and an inevitable collapse. In every single instance, gold served as a financial life raft for those who saw the storm coming. It's the constant in a world of variables, the one asset that has outlasted every government, every king, and every currency ever created. So, why does this matter to us? Right here, right now, because the same warning signs are flashing all around us, brighter than ever before. Look at the state of the world today. We are witnessing an era of unprecedented money printing by central banks globally. Since the 2008 financial crisis, and especially since 2020, trillions upon trillions of dollars, euros, and yen have been created out of thin air. This isn't just about stimulating the economy. It's a desperate attempt to prop up a system drowning in debt. Let's talk about that debt. Global debt has surged to a staggering, almost incomprehensible level, far exceeding global GDP. Governments, corporations, and individuals are more indebted than at any point in human history. The United States alone has a national debt that is climbing at an astronomical rate, with no end in sight. Governments have made promises they can never hope to keep: pensions, Social Security, healthcare, all funded by more borrowing and more printing. This is the exact same path trodden by Rome, Spain, and Weimar Germany. It's a fiscal doom loop. When a government can no longer pay its bills through taxation or genuine economic growth, it has only one tool left: the printing press. Every new dollar created devalues all the other dollars already in existence. It's a hidden tax on your savings, silently eroding your purchasing power year after year. You feel it at the grocery store, at the gas pump, when you try to buy a home. Everything is getting more expensive, but is it that things are more valuable? Or is it that our money is becoming less valuable? History provides a clear and chilling answer. This isn't a conspiracy theory. It's simple arithmetic. You cannot solve a debt problem by creating more debt. You cannot create genuine prosperity by printing paper. Eventually, the confidence game ends. And when it does, people will rush out of fiat currencies and into real assets, just as they always have. They will seek shelter in the one thing that has proven its worth for over 5,000 years. And that brings us back to gold. While you're being told to focus on the stock market or crypto, central banks around the world are quietly doing something very interesting. They are buying gold at a record pace. The very institutions that control the paper money system are hedging their bets against it. China, Russia, India, Turkey there. Central banks are stockpiling physical gold, as if they know something the rest of us don't. Why would they do this if they had complete faith in the dollar and the global financial system? It's the ultimate tell. They are preparing for a future where paper money is not king. If history truly repeats itself, and all the signs suggest it is, then the next great empire standing on the precipice could be the United States. The era of the US dollar as the world's undisputed reserve currency may be coming to an end. The economic dominance the West has enjoyed for decades is being challenged. We are living through a monumental shift in global power. And as this unfolds, the price of gold isn't just a number on a screen. It's a barometer of fear. It's a measure of lost confidence in governments and their currencies. When you see gold climbing, it's not because gold is changing. It's because the world around it is. So what is the secret behind this massive gold rush by the world's central banks? What do they know about the future of the financial system that they aren't telling us? We'll dive into that in our next part. When history speaks, central banks are the first to listen. What are they hearing right now? Look at the data. Central banks around the world are buying gold at record levels, faster than we've seen in decades. Publicly, they'll tell you the system is stable, that everything is under control, but their actions tell a very different story. Their actions reveal they are preparing for something big, a systemic reset. Why? Because they see the writing on the wall. They understand the fundamental fragility of our current financial system. Global debt isn't just growing, it's growing exponentially. Governments are trapped in a cycle of printing more and more money to fund their massive deficits. This isn't a political issue. It's a mathematical one, and mathematically, it is completely unsustainable. It's a house of cards, and each new dollar printed is another card added to a teetering tower. History teaches us a brutal lesson about monetary systems. They don't erode gracefully. Take collapse. Currency collapses never happen slowly, giving you time to react. They strike suddenly, like a flash flood. One day, everything seems fine. The next, the value of your savings, your pension, your entire life's work could be wiped out. In these moments, only those who prepared beforehand survive financially. The rest are left holding worthless paper. So, what does this mean for you? Think about this staggering fact. Right now, only about half of 1% of all global financial assets are invested in physical gold. Just 0.5%. This means the vast majority of investors are completely exposed. But it also presents an incredible asymmetry. What do you think happens when the cracks in the system become too obvious to ignore? When even a tiny fraction of that money, say 1% or 2%, tries to shift into the safety of gold, it won't be a gradual price increase. It'll be a stampede, a desperate rush for a very small exit door. The demand will overwhelm the available supply, and the price of gold won't just climb. It will launch. We are talking about a potential repricing of gold that could be unlike anything we've seen in our lifetimes. The central banks are quietly positioning themselves. They are front-running the public. They're getting their lifeboats ready before anyone else even smells the smoke. Look at the signs. Persistent inflation that central banks can't seem to control. Geopolitical tensions rising to a fever pit. A loss of faith in government bonds, which were once considered the safest assets on the planet. These are not isolated events. They are interconnected symptoms of a system under extreme stress. They are the tremors before the earthquake, the silence before the storm. We are living in a time of unprecedented financial experimentation. Negative interest rates, quantitative easing, and now, central bank digital currencies on the horizon. Each of these is a move further into uncharted territory, away from the proven principles of sound money. We are the subjects of the largest monetary experiment in human history, and if it fails, the consequences will be catastrophic for who are not prepared. It's easy to get complacent. Our daily lives continue, the markets go up and down, and the illusion of normalcy is powerful. But the underlying mechanics of our financial world are decaying. The trust that holds it all together is eroding. When that trust is finally broken, it will be too late to act. The time to build your financial ark is not when the rain is falling, but when the sun is still shining. The smart money isn't listening to what the officials are saying. It's watching what they are doing. And they are buying gold, not as a speculation, but as insurance. Insurance against the very system they are in charge of. It's the ultimate vote of no confidence. They're hedging their bets, quietly securing their own wealth in the one asset that has preserved purchasing power for over 5,000 years. The choice is yours. You can trust that this time is different, that the laws of economics have been magically suspended. Or you can look at the evidence, listen to history, and take prudent steps to protect yourself and your family. The information is out there for anyone willing to see it. The patterns are repeating. As Mark Twain famously said, history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. Gold is the alarm bell for our financial system, and right now, it's ringing again, louder than it has in a generation. The question is, are you listening? Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video.